As Congress's failure to deliver another stimulus package continues, and as more people fall deeper and deeper into poverty, corporate media has taken this strategy of attacking the messenger who wants to fight for some financial relief instead of actually doing the right thing and spreading the message of what needs to be done. And nothing made that clearer with a recent segment featuring Stephanie Ruhle interviewing Bernie Sanders on MSNBC. Let's take a look at how that went down.
The question now is whether or not Mitch McConnell is going to turn his back, as your report just indicated, on the incredible suffering that the American people, the working people, are now experiencing. Unemployment high. We have a record level of hunger in America. Millions of people are facing evictions. This is an emergency. Congress has got to respond aggressively to help working families. You know, Stephanie, I always get a kick. Here in Washington, when we go to war, there's endless amounts of money. Tax breaks for billionaires, endless amounts of money. Corporate welfare, endless amounts of money. When children are going hungry in America today, suddenly we don't have enough money. That's crap, that's wrong. And if we have got to stay here throughout Christmas, which is the last thing in the world that I would want to do, we are going to stay here because we are going to make sure that struggling working families in this country get the help they desperately need.
Senator, I'm not agreeing with you fundamentally, but I want to talk to you practically. You've been the lead sponsor of 422 bills during your 30 years in Congress, but only 7 of them have become law. Given that record and how dire things are, as you just laid out, do you need to find another lane or take a different approach here?
Do you need to find another lane? I mean, look, I want you guys to comment on what she actually said. I'll just comment on the look on her face as Senator Sanders is, first of all, just speaking the truth about the economic situation that so many Americans are facing right now, as small businesses are shutting down permanently, as people have to go through another lockdown or stay-at-home order as a result of this coronavirus pandemic surging again in the United States. I mean, it's a very real world issue for so many Americans. We still have tens of millions of Americans unemployed, and she's just, the look on her face, like she couldn't wait. At one point, she looked like she was gonna explode. And then I don't know if a producer told her, hey, calm down a little bit, calm down, you'll have your chance. But you know, it's just the disdain. I guess it's understandable considering the fact that she spent 14 years working in the finance industry. In fact, she was the vice president of Credit Suisse First Boston and became the highest producing credit derivatives salesperson in the United States. So they're kind of from different worlds here.
Yeah, and it makes you wonder why she has a job at MSNBC in the first place, which is alleged to be the most liberal, tree-hugging, flaming, hippie place that ever existed, right? Like if the rhetoric is to be believed, MSNBC is to the left of Young Turks, you feel me? So, but I say all of that to say, honestly, all you need to hear is that before she said her smug comment, she said, I fundamentally disagree with you. Essentially, no, I don't think we give too much to corporations. I love corporate welfare. I do think we should use all our money on propping up the richest, most fortunate people in our society. I don't give a damn about young people, poor people, or disenfranchised people. And so I don't want to hear that, Bernie Sanders. I'm sorry. And also I do want to say this too. I remember, matter of fact, I might have been on TYT when we watched Wolf Blitzer grill Nancy Pelosi, right? And CNN has a reputation for being a lot more conservative than MSNBC. But Wolf Blitzer was like, "What are you doing for people?" And so if this woman would have came out and said, "Look, Bernie, I hear you, I feel you. Poor people and working people need a chance, but you never get anything done. What are you doing to making sure it happens this time?" I'd be like, "Oh, okay, cool." She smugly said, "I don't agree with you," and basically shut up. That's her.
But you have to ask yourself, what is the basis for why you don't agree with these things? Okay, you may say, after Bernie went through the whole thing about who's struggling, how they're struggling, and why they're struggling, which everyone knows as we're sitting through the middle of this pandemic. So then if your response is, look at how many bills you've passed with your name being the only sole or the main, whatever this basis for randomness, for the main reason for why you're ineffective, as there's 7 bills passed with your name on it, what does that have to do with the situation with people in the country? I'm just wondering, and why is it his fault, by the way, that the rest of the Senate doesn't vote with him on things that will help the country? Stephanie, is the country in a great place? Are people's financial situations great? Are regular Americans doing wonderfully? Are they robbing grocery stores so they can eat? Are they upset? Are they afraid? Because I keep hearing the president and Republicans keep talking about suicide, domestic violence, depression in the House. Sounds like people aren't doing well. So if they're not doing well, why is it a bad thing that someone is advocating that we help them? Now, the people who are against helping them are the rest of these Republicans in the Senate and a large portion of the Democrats, right? Why do we have to convince them? Why do we have to we have to go their way when they're doing the wrong thing for Americans? But this guy who's only got 7 bills passed with his name on it, why is he wrong? I thought the situation is bad here. It's one or the other. You can't say that Americans are suffering and therefore I don't care about it because you can't get enough people who are against Americans to agree with you.
Yeah, I mean, you're absolutely right. I mean, like the logic isn't there, right? If you pay close attention to what she's saying, the argument doesn't make any sense. And look, Bernie would never do this because he shies away from aggressively attacking members of Congress, and I get it. I probably wouldn't play that way, but that's how he is. But I would have mentioned the fact that the reason why this type of legislation usually doesn't get very far is, of course, you talk about the corporate lobbyists, that plays a huge role. But the majority of our congressional lawmakers are millionaires. I'm not making that up, they are. They're able to invest in individual stocks, and that's how they make a lot of their money. And so that plays a huge role in some of the policy decisions that they make. Of course, I mean, you think they have problems with corporate stock buybacks when they know that artificially inflates the value of these stocks? No, they love it. They profit off of it. And so there's a huge conflict of interest there that never gets addressed. And it's really frustrating. And I wish he would have mentioned that, but it's okay.
One more small point about Stephanie Rule on this, because this is the thing. The thought process is you're supposed to convince enough Republicans. I mentioned that, right? Where does she stand about what Republicans think, especially when it comes to what's going on in this country with the economy and people's jobs and their wages, right? Tweet from Stephanie Rule in October of this year, October 29th. In 2016, Trump promised a middle-class tax cut, but the 2017 tax bill gave most relief to corporations and the wealthiest Americans. The Tax Policy Center did project that Trump's tax bill would reduce taxes by $1,600 for the average family. Now, everyone knows that tax plan didn't do anything for the middle and lower class. It did all this stuff for the corporations and everything. That's been determined, that's just the case. That's the fact. So if you keep that in mind, which Stephanie Rule tweeted about, and the Senate voted 51 senators, Republican senators voted on it to push that through, 51-48 in favor of it. Which one of those senators is Bernie Sanders supposed to get to his side when they've voted with Trump on things like this from the beginning? Which one of them are going to go his way? So the only thing left is for him to go their way. So you're asking for Bernie Sanders to abandon American people. And if you're against things like these policies that Trump had, like this tax cut, that means you're against the policies that Trump has against the regular Americans for getting relief. I'm not sure which side you're trying to play here. What is he supposed to do?
Well, it's not about him supposed to do anything. Rule number 1 of mainstream media is to pretend that the Republican Party is a normal functioning party, right? Like as if their interests are anything other than shoving as much wealth and power in the direction of where it already resides, which is the top, right? Like they don't do anything else. They don't have another organizing principle. I remember people sort of panicking about abortion and Amy Coney Barrett. It's like, Mitch McConnell don't give a damn about abortions. Like he doesn't talk about that type of stuff. He doesn't ram that type of policy through Congress and the Senate. Like he doesn't care about that. He cares about one thing, but the mainstream media's job is always to pretend that this is some normal functioning party that cares about literally anything else but corporate power and corporate greed. Like it's, but that's like they can't do the both sides and fetishize bipartisanism and talk about coming together and kumbaya. They can't do that act if they don't pretend that the Republicans are a normal political party.
Thanks for watching the Young Turks. Really appreciate it. Another way to show support is through YouTube memberships. You'll get to interact with us more. There's live chat emojis, badges. You've got emojis of me, Anna, John, Jayar. So those are super fun. But you also get playback of our exclusive member-only shows and specials right after they air. So all of that, all you gotta do is click that join button right underneath the video. Thank you.